Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting crossover episode of JJ's Rainbow Rumble and King Me Rev's Hype Podcast. As always, I am your host, the Rev Dude, with my beautiful daughter, JJ King. We have superstar here of the universe, the Gecko with no name, which Vile. Sister Selena. Selena, we need some names here. We're waiting for them. Please get back to us. We're coming for you, Selena. All right. Reintroducing today, we have the one and only Jal Mortar, named after Jalisa and Mortar. All right, there you go. And superstar of the universe, Shannon Lavangi Jr., a.k.a. Shanny, who also likes to do flippies, just like her predecessor? I don't know. Just like senior. I don't know. How else are you going to say it? Today, we have someone very special, someone that we genuinely love and appreciate on a regular basis, and that we, always, Nepwa comes first, so we see them all the time. All right? And let me introduce, with my own flair, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, humans of all genders, and fans of all ages and heart sizes, brace yourselves for the arrival of pure heart, unbreakable spirit, and ginger-fueled fire. Hailing straight from the historic shores of Plymouth, Massachusetts, forged in the relentless fires of the New England Pro Wrestling Academy, he is the breakout sensation storming through chaotic wrestling, powering through the toughest tests, slamming giants left and right, and stealing hearts everywhere he steps. The one and only Ginger Power personified, the consummate good guy, your child's favorite wrestler, your underdog hero with endless fight and unshakable faith, one half of the unstoppable breadwinners alongside Cash Money McGinnis, Patrick Wheatman.
Yeah.
Woo! Woo! Wheatman.
Hi, guys. Wheatman.
Thank you for being here today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
And hopefully you liked your introduction, man. So
I loved it. That was amazing.
it's become one of my signatures now. I did the first one ever with Shannon Lavangi, and I was genuinely nervous, because I'm the hype guy. That's my thing. I like to be out there.
Really are. You're really hyping Shannon on that.
I was really hyping Shannon. One of the things I love to do when someone comes on my podcast and they are a guest is I love to hype them up. So I hype up the audience. I hype up the guests. I hype up myself. It's just who I am as a person. It's who I am as a performer, as you could say. And it's just a genuine pleasure that I have in my life. So I did it first with Shannon. I was genuinely terrified, but she liked it, and I've done it ever since. And now I'm never going to stop. So, and as I've told anyone else, I told TJC, I told Cash Money, I told Shannon, I told other people, if you ever want me to go on the road with you and hype you up as you go to the ring, just let me know, bro. I'm in.
Absolutely. I'll keep it in mind.
So, once again, thank you for being here today. We've been very excited that you're able to jump on. As I said before we started, this is my third podcast of the day. This will be 3 of 4 for the week. On Sunday, we have the one and only, the Minder Racer, Mike Grossa, and hopefully we get to have Katie Prescott as well. So guys, stay tuned for that. Mike and Katie, we love you. But we're very excited, of course. But we're very excited because, damn, bro, you are over. Can I just say that? You are so over. I don't know what you do to those kids, but when they play your song, people lose their goddamn mind. Okay, pardon my French there, but that's people just are wild. They're like, their minds explode, and I'm just like, did he? What? How? So kudos to you.
Thank you very much. I have not a clue what I did. But I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm me. I just try to be myself all the time. So.
Hey man, us gingers need a win, all right?
I know, right?
We get crapped on everywhere else. I've been called soulless for like 40 years, okay? So it's nice for one of us to get a win and people not, give us crap about something for a change. And yeah, I'm throwing shade at my own brothers and sisters and stuff, man, because they're always like, "Oh, you ginger baby, blah blah blah." Like, forget you, man. Forget South Park for giving people that horrible thing to say to me. But yeah, no, thanks for coming on. You're genuinely lighting up the. And you know what? I actually have two curveballs for you because I just thought of the other one that I had for I just talked to Cash Money about. So I'm gonna start with the first one, right? Right
Mhm.
out the gate. You're Wheat Man, right? If you had the option to pick one superpower, what would it be?
One superpower. Um, one superpower. I'd probably I'd probably do flight because that's one thing that I definitely can never do. But if I had the superpower, I could fly anywhere I'd want to. So save a lot of money too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We definitely heard earlier today about the car dying in the summer and you guys having to take 5 hours to get to class, going from South Station to North Station to walking everywhere. So kudos to you on that one as well. That must have been rough.
Little bit. Obviously the car died during the summer, and but there it was no like roadblock or anything. Me and Cash, we just made sure we got to practice on time, even earlier than most people. Uh, Both me and him put our 110% always into professional wrestling, and I couldn't have it any other way. I'd drive or walk hundreds of miles to go to just practice, let alone an opportunity on a show.
Right? And man, I think we owe these gentlemen flowers. What do you think? We got to get you guys some flowers on the next show. Well, maybe not tomorrow because technically that's not Wheatman and Cash McGinnis, but Friday the 13th.
Another Friday the 13th. I hope Julie has an amazing outfit.
Hopefully, she slayed last
Uh,
time.
Yes, she
yes,
did.
she did. So we will have to bring you guys your flowers because that was an absolute like incredible insight to hear that it took you 5.5, 6 hours a day. You had to leave at noonish to get all the way to North Andover, and that shows incredible dedication and respect for the business from the two of you guys, especially being so young, right? You guys are so young, and I'm an old man. Let's just get it out of the way. I'm an old man. I'm 40 years old,
I
right?
didn't even say it.
All right. I could see the look on her face when I said you guys are so young. She acts like there's no camera right here that I can't see her face in the
I
corner.
don't think what I look like. I didn't even look at
Doesn't
that.
matter. I can. That's my job. So, with that being said, I get it. I'm so old. All right. But I have genuine respect for anyone who's willing to put themselves through whatever you need to do to be successful in any industry. And the fact that you guys, with all due respect, are part of a generation who has marginally lost that sight. I
Mhm.
have real, you know, um, just gusto fucking for you guys, right? That you guys were able to just get that going and show dedication and show heart. So yeah, kudos again to the both of you for sure.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
So and and I guess that actually brings me to my second question. I mean, this is kind of a partial pitch, but maybe you can just call it fantasy booking. But what I was saying, whether it be at the Wrestling Open on a Thursday night or Chaotic Wrestling on a Friday, that's between DC and Chase Del Monte. That's between the powers that be, right?
Mhm.
I and you could tell me if you'd like this matchup or not. I would love to see the Breadwinners versus Wrench and Resolve.
I would absolutely love that match.
All right.
I watch as much wrestling as possible, and I've watched Wrench and Resolve in Open, and I watch all the Open guys. I think they're great, so I'd absolutely love that match.
See, I think with both teams, you guys are both open. You guys are both over in similar ways. And I don't want to say with the exact same crowd, but the people I've seen on Thursday night at Wrestling Open, most of them are the same people I see at a Friday night at a chaotic show. Let's be honest, right? There's a lot of crossover appeal in that genre. So, I mean, it's all wrestling. So, if you're a wrestling nerd, you're a wrestling nerd. There's not as much as that stigma like WWE versus AEW, which I find embarrassing, to be honest with you. When people are like, oh, you can't watch it. I'm like, I'm a grown man. I'll watch whatever I want. Please stop telling me what to do.
Yeah.
I'm a grown-up now. You can't tell me who to watch and when. I can like whatever. This is America, baby. All right? Oh, but yeah, I feel like that would be an incredible matchup, and Cash agreed as well. His only ask was no death matches, and hopefully Jake not jumping off something very high on to the both of you. So I suggested the White Eagle.
I kind of disagree with Cash on that one because whatever Wrench and Resolve want to do, I'm totally up for. I'm down for any dirty games or anything like that.
Okay, all right. I love it. I love the spunk there, man. It's respectable, right? And we've had Handyman on the podcast before. Super nice guy. I think that there's a lot of damn it, I'm gonna say it again. And this is the face I get when I say it, because she knows exactly what I'm about to say. We in New England are spoiled. There it is. I've said it in every podcast, and I can't help it. But you know what? I'm going to change it today. I'm not going to change it today because I just said it differently about an hour ago. I'm going to say it differently right now. We are spoiled in the manner that we have so much young talent coming out of these incredible wrestling schools like BioPro and Nepwa. And, Test of Strength and stuff like that. There's, you guys, like iBlackjack, he's incredible as well. I would love to see Wheatman versus iBlackjack.
Absolutely.
Holy shoots. Holy snickerdoodles, Batman. The both of you guys just have that technical prowess, that strength, that I feel like it would be a banger, right? Let's put it in the terms. Let's put it banger after banger after banger.
Banger. Another phenomenal ginger wrestler.
There you go. Exactly. We got to keep them all. We got to keep them all together, man. We got to we're on the same team. Let's be honest. We're on the same team, all right? So I think those would be some phenomenal stuff. And iBlackjack had an amazing rookie year. You and Cash have had amazing times over the past couple of years, and to hear your stories and to know like what you've had to put into wrestling just to get to training on a regular basis. Once again, tip of the cap for sure. So, did you want to do the first one? Because I already did the 42.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Who were your favorite wrestlers growing up?
Here it is.
Growing up, John Cena was definitely up there. John Cena.
I was waiting for it. I was literally waiting for it.
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio.
Rey Mysterio?
Sorry, I cut you off. That's my bad.
Oh, she was going to talk. So a couple of years ago, well, Jesus. It was like 2017, something like that. We did a video. We didn't have video. We did a photo shoot. And we did different characters. So she was Wonder Woman. She was Captain America. She was Spider-Gwen. Gwen Spider. She was a bunch of different characters. And one of them was, instead of John Cena, it was JJ Cena. So she had the full outfit. She had the
And I signed it and gave it to Shannon.
We printed a photograph of JJ Cena.
Yeah.
And gave it to Shannon, but she was wearing a styrofoam spinner belt, but I actually have an actual replica of we would say the original World Heavyweight title that the WWE introduced in like 2005 or whatever it was, when they, after the whole WCW died and we had the undisputed title, and then we had the whole Raw versus SmackDown, and SmackDown had the WWE title. So Triple H got his WCW/WWE Raw big gold belt. I have a replica of that, and she was holding up that big belt, and she was so young, like she could barely hold this thing up because it's like 10 pounds or whatever, and she's like, oh my god. So yeah, of course John Cena. I mean, Rey Mysterio, he's phenomenal.
Phenomenal, yeah. And then if I had to throw one more in, I'd probably say Daniel Bryan Danielson, whatever you want to say.
Yes. I totally love him from Ring of Honor times. I don't know if you've gone back and watched that younger stuff.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like, legitimately phenomenal. And I love the story of Mark Henry. Mark Henry was the one who went to WWE upper management and was like, you guys need to get this guy in here. Like, he's super good. And he said he had to lie and tell them he was like 6 feet tall because they don't like short people. And I was just like, how dare you? No, we know how Vince was. So those are some pretty good, you can't really go wrong with that. John Cena, I was fortunate enough to be at WrestleMania last year when he won the Never Seen 17. And people were losing their damn minds. And I went to the Luxor Hotel right afterwards to be at the live Ups and Downs by Simon Miller for What Culture Wrestling. And people just kept screaming, chanting 17 for the longest time, until Simon Miller told everybody to be quiet because he said, anybody walking by who doesn't know the context might think that sounds very inappropriate, so please stop chanting 17. So it was a great day. Rey Mysterio, I mean, have you gone back and watched his early WCW days?
Absolutely. Him, Juventud Guerrera, Eddie Guerrero matches are electric. Any cruiserweights back in WCW stole the show every night.
Right. Oh my god. Yeah, it was certainly a phenomenal time I mean, I'm an old guy, so I got to see that shit live as it happened, right? And it was just a phenomenal time because it was very obvious that there was a barrier. I mean, they talk about the barrier, and obviously WWE is very much known for its revisionist history, right? It's glorified, let's pretend like things were when they weren't. But it was very obvious to us as an audience, even at that time, that there was a ceiling for these guys and that they were looked down upon. Despite them having stuff like Worlds Collide and bringing over guys from New Japan and stuff like that, you know, you got to see those great things. Another Nepwa student, Landon Hale, he's been on the podcast before, and Rey Mysterio is one of his all-time greats as well. And you know, it's just so refreshing because even at such a young age, this guy, you know, Rey Mysterio could just do so much, and the fact that he's still going, it's insane. It's insane. So, that's 3. Would you have a fourth and the proverbial Mount Rushmore, I'd wonder?
Absolutely. Can I throw 2 more in?
Sure.
Because, right, like, it constantly changes. The more wrestling I watch, the more it changes. 2 extra ones would be Bret Hart. I think he's one of the greatest of all time. And then Kenta Kobashi.
Oh, wow. Yeah. New Japan is so... I mean, I don't want to say it's so underrated because that would just be ridiculous. But I feel like the American audience need to pay really much more attention to it. Like, they don't even, like, most people don't even realize the reason why AEW works is because they pillaged all of the great talent from New Japan in the first place. Like, without without New Japan, there would be no AEW. It just that's not how that works. And when you talk about some of the greatest talents that came out of New Japan, I mean Prince Devitt, right? I mean the Bullet Club that he started, and then he moved over to NXT, making way for AJ Styles to come in and take over and bring the group and make it bigger with Kenny Omega and everybody else. Like, there's just undeniable talent from New Japan. So that's why I'm actually very excited to say that I get to go to my first New Japan show April 16th at in Las Vegas, since they'll be there for Side-Eye Girl. She's going to look at me crazy. She really wants to go to WrestleMania, but she's not old enough.
I mostly want to go to Las Vegas.
Okay. Well, she's not old enough to miss that much school. So, unfortunately, she can't go. But I'm very excited to be at my first New Japan show because they're just phenomenal, right? Getting the unhappy face over here. Sheesh. With that side-eye, I'm going to be single forever. Damn it! I'm just kidding.
You're gonna die to the side eye.
Okay, die from the side eye.
It's more of a death stare.
So, and this is where I hope my research doesn't fail me, especially since I'm being recorded, and it would be very awkward for me to erase this. But I have here that you were a fan of Dragon Gate USA. John Moxley versus Jimmy Jacobs in an I Quit match. Is that true?
Absolutely. October 29th, 2010. I was 5 years old, sitting in the front row with a neon green Celtics jersey. And I watched John Moxley take a railroad spike to the forehead. And that's exactly when I fell in love with professional wrestling.
So was that the moment where you're like, this is what I want to do?
Yeah, it was the moment I kind of clicked in my head where I wanted to be a professional wrestler. It took a little bit of time, but eventually I got here. Now I think I'm doing all right so far.
You're doing really good, man.
Yeah.
You're doing really good. I'm biased. I get it. But you're doing phenomenal. The fans, you're over like Rover, as they say. Like, whew. And to be fair, when it comes down to it, right? Being in the ever heights of Nepwa, you got guys like AG, who's actually wrestled at the Tokyo Dome. All right.
Mm-hmm.
You got guys like the wonderful Donovan Dijak, who's been on this podcast, who's been to the WWE and back again. And now you have people like Ricky Smokes, who came out of Nepwa and is now the NXT Tag Team Champion of the Universe. Like, you got a pretty good prestige and pedigree in your general vicinity, I would say.
Absolutely, yeah. And then you can't forget Ivar as well, and then Kofi Kingston used to be a student as well.
Right,
a lot of great
Kofi
guys.
Kingston. Kofi Kingston is a super nice guy. I met him one time. Can I tell the story?
I don't even know. Just say.
All right. So I got to meet him last year in Las Vegas, randomly.
Oh, I think
I went to a vegan restaurant. I'm a vegan.
Yep.
Shout out to Sean. I love you, Sean. We went to a vegan restaurant, and I was actually by myself, and Kofi Kingston walked in, and I started having like a whole panic attack where I was like, is that Kofi? Is that not Kofi? Am I just making it up? Am I seeing things? Am I losing my mind? So I literally had to Google him, and I was like, Google his family, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's definitely his whole family. Because it was Easter Sunday, so he had brought his whole family to the restaurant, which is why I was like, is it him? Because there was like 30 people or whatever. So I did the smart thing where I was like, I'm not going to run up to the guy. That's going to be sketchy. I asked my waitress, who was also his waitress, server, whatever the proper nomenclature is these days. And I said, hey, can you ask that man if I can buy him a beverage, right? He just became the champion last night in front of 80,000 people at the stadium that I was privileged enough to be there for. And I want to buy him a beer or whatever. I know he likes, I think it's Cabernet from the Olive Garden of all places, but he does, but can I buy him a drink? So she's like, you're such a weird guy, but I'll go ask him anyway. Sure. So she walks over to him. She starts talking to him, and I just hear all of these, his whole table start laughing. And they're looking around the room like, who is this lunatic trying to buy me a beer at 11:30 on Easter Sunday, right? So I just waved my arm like, yes, me, I'm the crazy man over here. Nice to see you. And he actually got up and walked over to me, and I was like, what do I do? Like, I just, deer in the headlights, I like panicked, and I was just like, you gotta get up. You gotta get up. He's coming to you. You gotta get up. So eventually I got up and I just shook his hand, and I was like, hey man, you want me to buy you a sandwich? Like, what's up? And he was just like, no, we're good, bro. I'm doing my thing. And he's like, you want a picture? I'm like, please let me take a picture. He offered. We took a picture. He was super nice. And I got to talk to him for like a whole 5 minutes. And he's like, I got to go back to my family. And I was like, thank you, champ. Thank you so much. You have a great day. So yeah, it's, Nepwa strong everywhere, my friends. Nepwa strong for sure.
Definitely.
So it's, Dragon Gate USA. Is your father a wrestling fan as well?
Yeah, so my dad has been a wrestling fan for as long as he can remember too. He brought me, and I have an older brother that he brought. My brother was terrified when the blood started coming, but I sat there like super focused in on it.
Yeah, some kids do freak out when people get color. They're like, oh my God, this guy's gonna die, right? Should I say it? Because I can see it on your face. A young JJ, let's just say a young JJ King used to be afraid of wrestling as well. I tried to be a responsible parent and keep wrestling separated from her for a very long time because I didn't want to freak her out. So, which is fine, right? If some people, they can't handle the ultra violence, it's probably a good thing she saw watered down WWE. And when I was, her age, I was watching ECW and stuff. So, and Japanese death matches on VHS. So
Yeah.
Mick Foley was a wild man. So, so you did amateur wrestling?
Yes. Senior captain, 3-year starter for my high school in my hometown. Wrestled for about 8 years, I want to say, total. So yeah.
So that would explain why you are so sound technically, right?
I'd like to think so. I think from my amateur wrestling background and also my overall sports background, in baseball, football, hockey, uh, I like to think an all-around athlete, which I think definitely helped in my professional wrestling future endeavors.
What position did you play in baseball? I'm curious.
First base.
First base. Oh man, that's the pressure point right there. That is, you got to be ready for every single thing ever, all the time. So,
Every single terrible throw from anywhere across the field.
Yeah, that's some people. I mean, obviously, everybody has their own cup of tea, and this is America. You can like what you like, just don't be a dick. All right, that's what Brian Zane would say. So, but as myself, I'm a huge baseball nerd, so I always played center field. I liked it. I got to stretch and run. I used to be able to run pretty fast, to be fair. Back in
Less than a minute down the stairs and up the stairs. What are you talking about?
Okay. And you know what's hilarious? It's still here. All right.
Oh my
so
God.
What she's talking about is these right here, right? So we were gonna have Donovan Dijak on the podcast.
It gave me
Right. So we were going to have Donovan Dijak on the podcast. So for his introduction, I wanted to have the feast your eyes, right? I wanted to do the whole gimmick. So he was about to come on the podcast, and I had realized that I had left these where they're supposed to be, down a few flights of stairs in my car. Oh. I ran all the way down a couple of flights of stairs. We're technically on the 3rd floor, right? So all the way down a few flights of stairs, out across the parking lot to my car, back up the stairs in about 58 seconds or so. So
Yeah.
young, not bad for a 40-year-old man who doesn't work out as much as he should. I'm just saying. So
Not
back
bad
in
at all.
my day, center field, I could stretch it out pretty quick when you needed me to. So first base is a pressure
What
zone,
was I
though.
in so?
Right field.
And technically in baseball, right?
Yes. She was always right field because she was the only kid her age that knew how to back up first. Fair enough. And as you being the first baseman, you should know it's nice when the right fielder comes in to make sure that if you miss, or more often than not, somebody throws over your head because they're throwing a wild man pitch. Someone's there to help you get the ball.
Yes. As a first baseman,
Teamwork, baby.
yeah, first basemen love their right fielders, so we
There you
appreciate that.
go. Good job, JJ. Even Wheatman knows it. Woo! So, is there any when you were what I should say the amateur wrestling, the sports, what of that did you bring with you, not only physically speaking, but maybe did any of that give you confidence on the other side of pro wrestling as well?
I wouldn't necessarily say confidence, but being able to fail, because especially in baseball, if you fail and only succeed 30% of the time in the MLB, you're an all-star with a batting average. So when I first got to wrestling, I failed constantly, over and over, trying my hardest, but I always got back up to the plate and swung for the fences every time I got into the ring. So anytime I failed, I'd get back up and try again. And that's where I think my confidence, but my resolve truly comes from.
See, and I gotta respect that. There's so many people out there that they're not willing to be that particular person, right? They're not willing to go to that extra mile to and they also can be, to be fair, very difficult. People can be very hard on themselves when it comes down to it. They it's difficult sometimes to understand that you can get knocked down 1,000 times, you got to get up 1,001, and it's something that gets a little harder as you get older. When you get knocked off that horse, you're like, how many more times is this going to happen to me?
Yeah.
So that resilience really needs to build and rebuild itself. So it begs the question, why did you choose Nepwa for your training, and what's been the most valuable lesson or drill from your time there so far?
I chose Nepwa because I knew they were the best. No offense to any other school, they're all great. But if you look across the independents right now, we're scattered all over the place. Mortar, Jeriel just got ID'd as well. Ricky just went to NXT. You got Milo Mira. You got Shannon. You got Seabass, Sean Vegan Keegan. Everyone's all over the place, and sorry guys if I didn't mention anybody. But they're the best in the indies right now, and all of our alumni are some of the best wrestlers going right now, especially Dijak and AG on the indies. So it's actually funny, when I went onto Google, they were the only working website I could find as well, with pictures and stuff. So I was like, this seems like a pretty good idea.
Yeah. No, that makes total sense, and I really laugh because I should say two podcasts ago, which was more like 12 hours ago, I was talking to Lauren St. James about this. So as I've said this 1,000 times, and I think I just brought this up with Cash as well, but in 7 days time, I'm going to get a bonus check. So in 8 days time, I am going to saunter down to Nepwa myself and give that money to Chase Del Monte so I can be a student of Nepwa myself. been kind of waiting for that money to come in so I can do it. Um, and one of the things that I decided to do a long time ago, and it probably sounds like a person is crazy or whatever, but I'm a systems analyst for the oldest chemical company on earth. So it's always been my job to think critically. So one of the things I did was actually create a almost like a menu of options.
Hmm.
A menu of options based upon things that I've seen throughout the industry that is marginally lasting and what could be considered systemic issues, that I have knowledge or wherewithal in those particular fields already from my previous professional careers. I have I went for a bachelor's degree in digital filmmaking and video production from the Art Institute of Phoenix.
Hmm.
So I do have a couple of skills here and there. And then another list of all the things that I'd be willing to try if I were to be in the business itself. If somebody's like, "Hey, would you do this?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's on the list," right? So one of them is um, talk to wrestling companies about having websites and updating them on a regular basis, because a lot of them have them, or a lot of them don't have them. To be honest, a lot of them don't have them, and some that have them, they don't update them. And I get the idea of it costs money and it you need somebody to do that, and it's like, well, you have this guy who's going to do it for free, so can I take a try, right? um what's been something you feel like that's been stuck with you from for being a Nepwa student so far?
I don't know.
Like maybe something you've learned at Nepwa itself that you've been able to use not only in your career but maybe even outside your career.
I got one. I do have one. It's from the notorious Donovan Dijak himself. Um, it's a saying he likes to say a lot. It's "Don't give him bullets." So always put in your 110% because you never know who's watching. If you slack off that one time, or if you don't give your full effort that one time, that's just an extra bullet for someone to take you out per se, not to make it weird or anything, but
No, that's
just to
valid.
cut you off the list. Don't give them the bullets to take you out. And so every time I go out, I try and keep that in mind to always give my best effort.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it, because there are people in this world who are, unfortunately trying to make a name off of destroying your reputation. And there is a lot of backstage politics and yada yada yada, and I definitely don't want to get into all that nonsense because I've seen some of it myself a few too many times at this point. But which her face says it all. We've had our own fair share. We're not even in the business yet. We've already have our own
Yeah.
fair share of backstage politics, my friend. Um, but I can definitely see where that's coming from. In the military, we had a very in spirit. It was the same thing. The idea of well, it was in spirit. It was very similar, and it was more the idea of um, make sure you don't attack anyone if you're not 110%.
Mhm.
So the idea of if you want to put somebody in check for being ate up, for being garbage at what they're doing, you got to be 110% first. So those kind of go hand in hand now that I say that out loud. They kind of work together because one's saying, hey, don't let other people be able to eat you up. And this one's saying, if you're going to eat somebody up, you better be at your game, right? So they kind of go hand in hand there. I love it.
Absolutely.
So your debut was at the Chaotic Countdown multi-man match back in July 2025. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Um, what was it like getting into that chaotic wrestling ring for the first time for you?
Um, it was surreal. Uh, like definitely surreal. That's probably the best way to put it. I ran out there. and I wanted to make sure that I made an impression on everyone with my energy and my enthusiasm. Uh, Obviously, sadly, Cash kind of turned his back on me for a hot minute and threw me out, but that was after we eliminated Dustin Waller. Um, but the energy from the crowd and just Chaotic puts on such a great show, especially at the bigger ones in Lowell. Heart's racing, the adrenaline's going. And after I got eliminated, when I went to the back, I started tearing up because it was everything I ever wanted uh, ever since I was a little kid. Felt like at that moment that I had actually achieved my dream. But obviously, there's so much more work to do. But just that one little moment right there was everything to me.
That's a beautiful sentiment. You know, I feel like, especially as human beings, we tend to forget that there's beauty in the milestones. You might not have had reached your final destination, but you're on that journey. And yes, it's the first time you got to do it, and there hopefully is going to be another 30 years of doing it. Especially because you guys are so damn young. But what? I could say that. But the incredible thing about it is that you worked your ass off, and you should be proud, and you should be able to relish into that and have it as be a positive experience. So it's wonderful to hear that you were able to do that. You know, so many people aren't able to relish in their moments, whether it be like, for me personally, I have imposter syndrome. I have a horrible case of imposter syndrome. So I could actually go out and achieve something great. Like, there's been at least 3 or 4 times in my career where I've gotten a promotion, and I work really hard. I get this promotion. They're like, yeah, you obviously, I interviewed for the job and someone gave it to me based upon the credentials that I had at the time. But then, like, a week later, that whole high of getting that promotion wears off. And then I go into a sheer panic mode where I'm just like, I'm not good enough. I don't deserve to be here. Why did they pick me? Did I trick them into picking me? Was I just so, charismatic enough that they're like, fuck it, well, let's let the guy try anyways. You know what I mean? Then I just have that panic moment. So to hear you be like, man, you enjoyed yourself, that's wonderful. Because me, I'd be like, I'm a fraud. How dare they smile for me? So, good for you, bro. I'm happy for you.
Thanks, man.
So Wheatman, where did Wheatman come from? I'm very curious about that.
So Wheatman, it stemmed from a nickname from two particular people. It was Jose Zamora and Tony Navarro. They gave me the nickname Wheaties, like the cereal box. And I'm not sure if they thought I could be on a cereal box or it was because of the color of my hair. But
Valid.
right? But then eventually people kept saying it, and I'm not sure exactly how it turned into Wheatman, but I'd walk into the room and people would say Wheatman, and then I just kind of instinctively kind of just threw my hands up in the air, and rest was kind of history after that. And then now everybody calls me Wheatman. Nobody calls me Patrick.
Yeah, that's true. No one uses the Patrick, which is funny because on our screens you have the little Patrick on there. Um, but that's a great one. The Wheaties to Wheatman, because yeah, you have the pedigree, right? You have so many years of playing multiple sports, but so that probably gets you. That could, maybe if you went Olympic style, maybe you could have got on the Wheaties box. Who knows, right? This kid doesn't know, but back in the day, that was a huge thing. Like, people were like killing themselves. Back in my day, we were driving all the way to Timbuktu for some Wheaties, right? But You know, I remember being a kid and they had the '92 Dream Team, right? And
Mhm.
they were on the box, and everybody and their mom wanted to buy that damn box. Like people were losing their damn minds, and like Wheaties aren't even that delicious, but the idea of having the Dream Team, that was incredible basketball. So it was great. JJ had one for you. Okay, take it easy.
What is your theme song and why did you choose it?
My theme song is Blur Song 2. And the reason I picked it is because back in the day when my father, when the internet first came around, there were online forums and he had to create a wrestler. He based it off of Kurt Angle because he wanted to be a heel back in the day. And he used that song. And it was this kind of one off story he told me when I was younger, but I always kept it. And I chose the song because of him and because I love my dad. So
That's a great sentiment. I'm gonna keep saying that. Hopefully, that's a great story. It's good to have nice dads, isn't it? Isn't it so good? Isn't it so good?
I have two wrestle dads.
Okay, Wrestle Dads. You'll see Wrestle Dad on Sunday, and you'll see Wrestle Dad clone tomorrow. I don't know what to call him.
And my
Wrestle Mom clone. She's not.
She's not a clone.
Well, they're not. Is she Jaleesa when she's at Rad Pro, or is she someone else?
I don't care. I'm
I
not
don't care.
I don't care.
it might be your wrestling grandparents, I believe.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go. Wrestle grandparents, because she has two sets of adopted wrestle parents.
Jaleesa adopted me.
Jaleesa and Mortar are
I-
her wrestle parents.
I walked up to her and called her mother. I literally did.
She did say she did.
And I texted her saying, "Hey mom, you at Rebel Spirit?"
And to be fair, but JJ didn't hear this when we were at a show that they told me not to mention, so I'm not going to say it on. We'll just say they were at a show, and JJ didn't hear it, but Jaleesa did turn to her and say, "You should do this thing because I said so, and I can say that because I'm your mom." Bam! She said,
Yeah, that's why I called her mother.
"Mother,
I knew you were gonna
don't
do
you
that.
know where your
Whenever I
children
say that, that's
lay?"
what I think of. Whenever I say mother or like think of that, that's what I hear in my head.
You're welcome. I love that
Specifically,
song.
you saying it. Okay.
So, see, and we already got to this one. We kind of, because it talks about how you were at Plymouth North High School and you went to JM Baseball Academy. So, you were so deep into sports. Did those sports not even give you an inclination of maybe I should go to the Olympics with amateur wrestling, or try your hand in something else, with maybe going to college and doing baseball? Like, did wrestling just
Yeah.
stick?
So for me, I went 1 year to college in UMaine Farmington. I went for baseball because that was my best sport at the time. Um, I was invited there to be on the team and work out and everything. And to say the least, I hated school, college in general. I was having a terrible time, and it was almost every single day I said, what if I had just like started wrestling? Because it had always been my love and it had always been my goal in life. Even after school and baseball, it was always something I had to try. Because if I didn't, then it would have been the one big like what if in my life that I would have regretted. So once I realized that I had kind of gotten into this like deep, dark, like time of my life in college where I just wasn't having a good time. And then baseball obviously went down as well. I wasn't playing as good, wasn't up to par at what I should have been giving my effort for. Um, and I decided that summer to finally cut it loose and put my 110% effort into professional wrestling. And obviously, dropping out of school was not the greatest idea, but in my head, I said if there was a plan A and no plan B, then plan A would have to work. And obviously, plan A is currently working. So,
Yeah, you're smashing it. And you may not be used to hearing this from old men, but college sucks, all right? You pay way too much money for a supposed education, and then when you get a job, it barely pays for the $100,000 you just racked up in college debt. So
It's gonna be my college.
that's valid.
I
But
literally said that.
understood. But what I'm saying is like it it doesn't work as it once did for our grandparents and great grandparents. Like, my grandparents, they had the luxury, and I mean, no offense that they had it hard or not, but they were able to work one job. One man could work one job and pay all of the bills for a family of six without a problem. And that's because the economy was incredible at that point. And you could do the whole pull yourself up by your bootstraps. But whether grandma likes to hear it or not, that doesn't exist in today's America. It's not how that works anymore. That is beyond dead, and it's been dead for at least 35 years. So I always tell people, especially your age, unless you have some distinct reason to get an education, don't waste your time and money. I know a person who went to school for a very long time and are in deep debt, and they haven't even gotten a job appropriately, and they're 41 years old. And they're just basically working to pay off the interest at this point, and they're going to die probably like $2 million a net, knowing that interest, like 30% or whatever it is, 29.9%. And what was it for? What did they do with it? Right? If you're going to do something with it, then sure, understandable. There's guys like, it's always funny because like Mick Foley and Steve Austin, they have degrees in finance, right? And granted, they got lucky where they didn't have to really use them. But as I've said to 1,000 people, and I'll say another time, nobody gets to their 45, 50, 60, 70 years old and go, oh man, I could have been a tax accountant. What was I thinking? You know what I mean? It's not how that happens. That's not how that works. Nobody's like, oh, I should have been a customer service representative. You know what I mean? There's always time to figure out the customer service representative. And you don't have to be 18 to go to college either. Like, huh? You could be, I did some college courses not too long ago, and there's no rule against it. In fact, it's actually a very marginal thing that happens a lot. There's a lot of people who go into the military at 17, 18, 19 years old. I'm a veteran, so this is why I can say this. When they retire at 38, 39, 40 years old, maybe between 38 and 45, depending how long they do, that's when they go to college because they really don't know anything else. Most of their skills from the Army doesn't transition over because, I mean, as I like to say, they don't teach us to hold hands and sing Kumbaya, right? So those skills really don't transition to the civilian universe. So they all go to college at that point, but they have the money and the time. So you could take the time. You might as well try to do something like, be like Wheatman here and actually try to do something you're passionate about and you love. So, kudos to you, sir. Kudos to you. See, we're here to hype up Wheatman. Woo!
Me and my friend did that earlier, and he screamed at the top of his lungs in a high-pitched squeal, Wheatman. Because I literally did this, and we said Wheatman, and then he did it after me and did a high-pitched squeal. I really wish I recorded.
That would have been great. You know what's incredible, actually? This kid has gone to her school and turned it into Nepwa Jr., and not one of these other kids have ever even seen a goddamn chaotic wrestling match live and in person. But she's just talked about Nepwa and chaotic and Rad Pro and wrestling and Shannon Levangie so much. It's almost like they were there.
I go up to my favorite teacher almost every single day and I talk about wrestling. And then most of my teachers, there's this boys and girls club thing for wrestling, and my English teacher said, I saw this and thought of you. And then I had an English paper to write, and another teacher, she was like, oh, you should write about wrestling, you know, somebody getting an injury or whatever. And I'm like, I'm gonna make it about Shannon because she got an injury and she got up. It's like, it was like about a theme. And so I was gonna do about like hope or like stay hopeful or whatever. And I made it. And then in math one time, my teacher was like, um, she was like, you should do something about wrestling. It was like subtracting something and something. And I'm like, okay. And I always talk about it in like most of my classes. And then I think my friends are sick of me talking about Shannon.
We love Shannon.
And like wrestling in general, but like still.
Well, it's just funny always hearing how the kids are rooting for. I guess I got to
One
start
of my friends,
asking if we can bring those kids to shows sometime.
one of my friends, he's like, I really want to start watching wrestling now. And I'm like,
Does he not have YouTube?
I don't know.
Chaotic's on YouTube.
Okay, but I literally have.
Alright,
You said they were
well,
gonna do something specific.
I get it. All right.
And then another friend, actually, I was talking about Supernova, and I didn't know she knew about it. She's like, "Oh, I know Supernova, Nova," and I'm like, "What? You know about wrestling?" Because she's also a wrestling fan. So
Yeah, so she's doing recruiting for you guys, making sure at least we get fans of the next generation, even for people who have never seen wrestling a day in their life. It's pretty good. Now we just got to get them to the dance. So, and maybe this is a thing, maybe this is not a thing, but it has Mark 9:23 in your bio.
Yes,
Does that make you an open Christian?
absolutely. Catholic to be specific. The orange Irishness in my veins stems to my religion. Mark 9:23. If you can, everything is possible for one who believes. Something very dear to my heart is my faith in Jesus, and I try my absolute hardest, but I know I'm not perfect and I will fail. But at least if I have Christ by my side, that I will prevail, whether it's his way or my way. Hopefully it's through wrestling, but it will prevail, and he has a plan for me that'll put me in the right space.
And the beauty of that, right, is that regardless of what happens with your faith in the Lord, of course, forgiveness is always there. So, it's a beautiful thing to have your faith and to carry that with you. I like to say that I double dipped in the Catholic pool because I'm about 35% Irish and 35% Italian, so Sicilian. So I got two big chunks of two of the main Catholicism tribes in the universe. But it's definitely a kudos to you to to be open in your faith in a time where so many people are either abandoning their faith or are having to hide it due to political correctness, right? So I commend you once again for that, right? I mean, the fun thing is that I kind of use it as a double entendre where it comes with the rev, because I use it to rev things up, but I am an ordained minister, and I will hopefully in the shortcoming, God willing, be able to open my own church, and it's something that is near and dear to my heart as well. And I've definitely made sure to tell people that I want to make sure to find one that's big enough for a ring, because that would be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
So, kudos on you on being so open about that. How does your faith play into your wrestling career? Like, believing in the Lord, does that help you with setbacks and maybe things may or may not be going your best way? Is it just pure faith in the Lord?
Yeah. Um, it definitely helps me on setbacks to know that I always have someone looking out for me and someone above me, uh, helping me on the right path. And yeah, I mean, my faith is the only thing that I love more than professional wrestling. Um, and it keeps me set in stone and it keeps me on the right path from any like drugs, alcohol, or like going down and like picking the wrong decisions. It keeps me narrow focused on training and doing the right things all the time and always being kind and welcoming to others, always trying to do the right thing. And it helps me just kind of put the horse blinders on and try my, again, 110%. I keep saying 110%, but truly it does keep me on the right path.
Right, and that's a beautiful thing. I mean, there are so many evils. My own personal church's philosophy when I wrote it was the idea of we are not out there to destroy men, but the evils that beset them, right? So the idea is that so many people have unfortunately fallen prey, as one would say, and that's one of the reasons why I've become I have 5 jobs, right? So my fifth job is I work for a kava bar, which kava is a natural root that actually helps with anxiety. It's a natural um, plant that you find in the Pacific Islands, and I try to bring more. I'm a business developer for this particular kava bar that's in Nashua, New Hampshire, and the idea is to um, bring more people into that setting because especially in a profession like wrestling, or honestly, marginally speaking, sports in general, people could fall prey to substance abuse issues, and I could probably sit here and for an hour, and we could name all of some of the greatest wrestlers who have ever lived who have fallen prey and have come back to the Lord. So, and all power to them as well, of course. Um, especially some were worse off than others, but luckily they were able to find healing and faith through the light, and they were able to reclaim their former selves to glory. And it is it's a beautiful thing, right? It's a wonderful thing to see that, and it's great to know that you have your head on your shoulders and you have the Lord by your side to keep you throughout your journey. So, Christ be with you, as one would say. Um, uh, Not to completely throw it off from wrestling, so maybe to jump back into wrestling here for the faithful watching at this point. You've had matches with guys like Arcturus, Calvin Dumont, Tyree Taylor. Um, though, I mean, especially obviously Arcturus, we know who he is, right? Um, Brad Hollister, Tyree Taylor, um, guys that have some serious time and knowledge under their belts. What has it been like wrestling men like that, and what kind of lessons were they able to teach you in the ring and beyond?
I'd probably say one thing that's consistent through all of them is slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Um, Take your time, listen to the crowd, um, and enjoy the moment, be in the moment. Um, Definitely like enjoy and like breathe it in and just be a part of the show rather than like, here's the bullet points I have to pick. Like, be indulged in the experience with the fans rather than in front of the fans, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. Like, so many people are worried about getting to their next spot.
Mhm.
They might lose sight of if the crowd even cares, quite frankly. because so many times there have been, I don't want to name names, but I definitely could name a few names. There have been some people, even in the big leagues, as they would say, who are just doing spot fests. After a while, even as an someone watching from home, you're kind of like, all right, well, we can clearly see these 8 people standing around for 38 minutes waiting for this guy to climb this scaffold. Like, we know what's going to happen, and it just kind of pulls you out of the thing, and it's like, come on, guys, you're killing it, man. You're killing it. You guys had us, and then you just had to wait 14 minutes for a spot. Like, was it worth it, bro? You couldn't have done anything else in the meantime when this guy was doing his little thing, And once again, they're a lot longer on the higher in the food chain than I am, so maybe I shouldn't complain. But it's beautiful to hear that you guys are you're in, that there's times to be in the moment and to pay attention around you. Because what if you got to call an audible, So we talked about it for a brief second earlier, and you mentioned it, but I had it down here as there was that early betrayal storyline with Cash, and but luckily and beautifully, and I was very excited to see it in Lincoln, New Hampshire, for what was it, Linwood Mania, right? We had the breadwinners, right? So Cash was on the podcast earlier talking about it from his point of view, but I'm curious from your point of view, what was so great for you forming that partnership and turning into a real tag team?
Yeah. It was great because Cash is my best friend. Kayfabe, non-kayfabe. We spend so much time together that getting the opportunity to perform in front of everyone as our ridiculous selves means everything to me, that we have the opportunity to do so and be the breadwinners, yeah, I get to hang out with my best friend and perform with my best friend now, so I couldn't ask for anything better.
So for you, obviously, I mean, hopefully you guys get to do this for at least the rest of the, I should say, spring into summer. Do you have maybe you can compare itself? Maybe you can compare for me, I should say, the idea of singles competitor Wheatman versus breadwinners Wheatman. Like, is in your mind, is there a difference between those two, and do you change? I mean, you got new pants and stuff, right? That was kind of fun, right? You got all the sparkle, bling, bling. But besides the obvious attire, right? Is there a difference in your mind between the two of those?
So for breadwinners Wheatman, I'll say sparkly Wheatman. He's a little more extroverted, a little more out there. Listening to his best friend talk to him and get him all dripped out, and then singles competitor Wheatman, to compare the two, they're still great guys. Wheatman is still the energetic, friendly guy that he was, just a little more bedazzled.
Just that extra, that swag, right? You got to turn on the swag button.
Yep, exactly.
Cash was talking about it, and maybe we could get your thoughts. He was talking about how it'd be kind of cool to have like I would say, I'm trying to get the proper nomenclature here, but essentially maybe your guys' like own swag faction, right? And maybe get a couple of guys from, not all of them have to be Nepwa per se, but maybe a couple of different people from around New England, since there's so much talent here. I threw out the idea of my buddies, Guapo Suave, JJ, hide your face, Diego is Nepal, so it makes sense,
Yeah,
right? But do you think it would be? I mean, because we got like Stetson Ranch, we got Big Business, right? There are a few factions in New England, so would you be down for the idea of like putting together, take you and the Swagatron putting together a team?
absolutely. Yeah. Um, our swag faction um would absolutely include any young guys that'd be a part of it because we're obviously here to make our mark and tear through the indies. So our like swag group, I don't know what the name would be yet, but yeah, I mean Diego's a great guy. Nepwa, love that guy. So anybody that would want to join, anybody that think they can hold a candle to me and Cash's swag, I'd I'd like to see them try and join.
Awesome. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
I don't know why, but I feel like what if BMT joined?
T,
I don't know.
the king?
Yeah,
I don't know.
because of what happened at the show.
Oh, because of we're going into storylines now because he was not very kind to Prince Jamari. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. What a jerk! He gets a little
Technically, it was
low key
also
jealous. He was a low
because of
key
the
jealous.
whole-
Yeah. She wasn't paying attention to what was really going on. We'll have to see how that progresses um in Lowell in 7 days, which is always nice for me to go home to Lowell. Maybe and it's a pretty fun venue too. You guys don't have to worry about hitting your head on a ceiling for a change, right?
No.
So I know that's always funny when we go into I feel like the last time we were in Tewksbury, you guys had like the half ring, and I was like, oh, okay, people are gonna be doing stuff off the top rope now that they can actually get on the top rope without smacking their head on the
Yeah.
freaking ceiling, man. Um, so yeah, no, that's great. And Cash is such a good guy, man, for sure. Love that guy. Um,
He really wanted to take a picture with me and the gecko. Like he wanted to hold the gecko.
he's like, give me that gecko, bro. Let's go.
Yeah.
Um, so fans love calling you the consummate good guy and underdog. What's your approach to being a baby face in this gritty life, right? What is your what is your thought process, especially when you go out there, especially, whether it's you're literally going to the ring or in like times of intermission where those kids, man, they are all over the place and they are looking for Wheatman.
Yeah. Um, being that baby face, I kind of want to take it upon myself to show everybody that you can do it the right way. You don't have to do it by hook or by crook. You can do it correctly and be nice and be kind to everyone and be inclusive. Um, and I just want to be the light to a lot of people and especially to the kids and tell them to chase their dreams and they can do whatever they want if they put their mind to it.
Yeah, no, that's a beautiful sentiment. That's a beautiful sentiment for sure. Um, so what other I mean, we got to see you at Jesus Christ. I just lost the name of it. Fight Life. Thank you. We've seen you at Fight Life.
Um,
Which other promotions have you been fortunate enough to grace the ring?
So we have Chaotic, we have Rad Pro, we have uh Fight Life, Rebel Spirit. I've been able to face Dustin Waller one-on-one there.
Ooh, that sounds like a
Yeah,
good match.
it was a good match. It was great. And then Blitzkrieg, I've been to. And then this Sunday, I will be making my debut with Mr. Cash himself as the breadwinners at Cap TV in New York. So
Wow.
I believe that is it for now. That's all I got.
You guys looking to maybe expand more, like hit up the Wrestling Open or even go up to, I mean, you got EWA, that's ran by some former Nepois.
Yeah. Oh, I've also I've been on Limitless as well
Yeah, that's
in a
the one
battle
I
royal.
had down here, Limitless, which
Yeah.
is those guys can put on some super cards, man. Like it's crazy when they sell out that big arena up there. It's wild. I kind of low key can't wait until JJ gets to see them sell at those bigger shows for sure. Just because it's almost like a TNA show when they get to that point. But yeah, Blitzkrieg's one that's on the list, but we haven't been to just yet, and that's probably because some other show was there first. As we've pointed out, when it comes to our order, number one is Shannon. Okay, so if Shannon's on the card, we're going.
Hmm.
Number two is Nepois. If it's Nepois, if it's Chaotic, if it's Rad Pro, obviously we assume Shannon's going to be there, but just in case, just to point it out there. Number three is everybody else. So, um, but yeah, no, it's Limitless is man, they got a lot of really good guys there. It's kind of hard to go wrong with that. Now, is there? And you don't have to necessarily name the name, like name the promotion, because I don't want to get any hot water. But is there like a much different environment compared to Chaotic when you go to these other places?
Um, would definitely say Chaotic's just different for me personally as a Nepwa student because it's family. It'll be home for me for my entire career. So it'll always feel a little different there at Chaotic because it'll feel like I know everybody and everybody knows me and they love me and I love them. So everywhere else, I'd say is at this point in my career is kind of like dipping my toe into the water and it's work. Like it's a business. Shaking hands, introducing myself. Not a lot of people know me. So uh just making sure I put the right foot forward with all these places. It could be a little intimidating sometimes with especially Rebel Spirit. They put on a great show and they have so much great talent there. Uh Being in the backstage area, hanging out with those guys, uh I make sure to be on my toes a little bit, not in a bad way by any stretch, but in more of like a surreal way where I'm hanging out with these great talents, uh getting to learn and watch them while I get to share a show with them. So um it could be a little intimidating at first, but hopefully at some point I can feel like everywhere is home for me in the future.
Yeah, and the great thing about it is so many of those places that we've named have other Nepwa there. The last time we were at Rebel Spirit, I want to say Jacob was running crew, like ring crew. Porter was in the main event, and I'm sure if I
Gaming.
and I'm sure if I started remembering the rest of the card, I would probably name other Nepwa people. I know the camera guy that I can't remember the camera guy's name, but I know I've definitely seen him at different chaotic shows over time.
Frankie,
I
was
think,
Frankie
yeah,
there?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Uh, and then you had maybe not even necessarily Nepal, but you have guys like the Miracle Generation who have wrestled like feels seems like a billion times at chaotic wrestling. So it's like that's the great thing about Nepal, right? There's people are expanded everywhere. Have you thought about and maybe this is a wild theory here, but have you thought about just knowing where you are physically on the map, um, APW at all?
APW. Yeah, I'm gonna be. I want to say their March 28th show. I will be making my debut for APW.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No. Just because there is so many people. I mean, Gunnar Moody. He's Nepwa. There's been Calvin Dumont's been on the card. AG. there's been so many NEPWA students that have gone through like APW, that it was just kind of like, all right. And with it being closer to home for you, right? I want to say they got to be marginally closer to home compared to some of the other stuff in this universe, right? Not a bad place. I think like Gerard puts on a pretty good show, and there's some pretty passionate people in there. You know, current champion is Monty Aries, the main shooter. He's been having some great stuff. He got the belt off DJ. And DJ is such a great heel. Let's be honest. He is such a great heel. You got to give it up to DJ because he really knows how to get those people. Man, he's got that down. Apparently, he also is someone you don't want to come after on the microphone because he may or may not get that. Allegedly, he will get your microphone very sticky when he touches it. So, that's what I've been told, allegedly. St. James made sure to point that earlier. That she absolutely hates when some wrestlers are on the mic because, number one, they get slobber all over it, and then she has to do the whole wiping it off. But she said that every time she gets it back from Powers that it's very sticky, and she's has to baby wipe it down or whatever. So JJ got to hear the you did hear it, right? The video with that? Yeah. Because I was processing that video earlier, and I played that was a great clip, so I have that dropped.
I remember you laughed while it was going on, and so I couldn't hear what she was saying.
Yeah, well, it was a funny thing when St. James is like, yeah, you know, he gives it back and it's all gross and sticky and it smells funny. It's just like, all right, it kind of makes sense, Mr. Spray Tan. It makes sense. All right, Mr. Spray Tan. So that's great. That's wonderful because I do feel like there was some kind of announcement about people showing up at the last APW show. So it's great to hear that you're one of them because we get more Wheatman. So there's no problem. It's it's way better. Hell yeah, more Wheatman in the day, and it's before WrestleMania, so I don't have to miss it. If there's a chaotic show during WrestleMania weekend,
Jaleesa
I'm gonna be in a lot of trouble because I'm not gonna be in town. I'm gonna be in Las Vegas. So this kid
cry. I would literally be trying to message Jaleesa, be like, "Hey, so you called me your mom, so you can come pick me up, right?"
Like I said, you have to start the conversation with, "Hey, Mom, I got $20 for gas. Can you get me?" That's how you start the conversation. $20 for gas. You got to put that first. You always say $20 for gas.
My dad will pay you.
Yeah, it's called Venmo. It's really not that hard. I have Mortar's Venmo or Cash App or whatever. It's all the same, right? It's fine.
Just give it
They live in Lowell. It's not that far. Yeah. Whatever. We'll sort it out. Her mom's house is in Nashua, so it's like 20 minutes up the road there. Have you been to Mania?
I've never been to a WrestleMania. No.
Oh, okay. Have you been to a big pay-per-view at all? I'm curious, like a big WWE pay-per-view or AEW?
No big pay-per-views. I've been to shows like Raw, and then I've been to an AEW taping, but yeah, that's really about it. Just the regular weekly shows.
Did you go with Cash in November to see AEW?
Yes. Me, okay. Cash, Omar, La Casa, and yes.
I love Omar.
I know.
I love Omar as well.
He's such a great guy.
Fantastic guy.
He is a fantastic guy, and yes, we did give him a Christmas card. It was a little late because we didn't think he was going to show up for Holiday Hijack. Was it Holiday Hijack?
No, Fight.
No, we gave it to him at Fight Life.
Oh, yeah.
But we didn't think he'd be at Holiday Hijack because there was another show going on, and we thought since he lived in Maine that he was going to go to the main show, but he didn't. He still came to Watertown for Holiday Hijack. So we were like, crap.
Yeah, we were outside, and we had extra cards, and I was like, my dad was like, "Oh, this person's here," when they're not really there. And so I made a card for them because I had extras, but we didn't know he was gonna be there, so we didn't bring his.
Yeah.
And my dad kept saying, "This person's here," and I kept writing a different name. He's like, "Don't forget this person." I'm like, "Oh my God, how many people are there?"
5 million later.
And then I accidentally dropped Shannon's card.
Yeah, but luckily Armani Chaos saved the day. He's a great guy.
I was really happy when Shannon came up to me at the end of the show saying, Armani found the card and gave it to her. I was like jumping.
Skinny weight champion of the universe to the rescue.
Technically,
Yes.
he wasn't.
He wasn't that yet, I get it, but whatever. He is now, so I'm going to give it to him anyways. He is the reigning and defending.
Oh my God.
I'm not going to do this shtick. I have done a couple of the special guest spots at the Wrestling Open, so
Nice.
hopefully one of these days a daughter of mine will be able to actually attend a show on a Thursday night so she can see me get in the ring with the GOAT, Rich Palladino. Rich, I love you, bro. Because she has been unable to do so. Thanksgiving night, she was with her mother. Christmas night, it was a 21-plus show. And the other day, if I talk about it, she'll punch me. So, I don't want to be punched
Don't
right
make
now.
me cry again. I almost cried with Cash. I don't want to cry again.
There's no crying in baseball.
Stop saying that. That's like the worst line ever.
Actually, it's one of the most iconic lines in the history of cinema,
It's
man.
iconic, but it's the worst. You say that way too often. It gets.
It's not my fault. Tom Hanks is amazing.
So if somebody ever said that, I would probably start crying. Not literally, but like.
It's not my fault.
On
That
the
movie's
inside.
awesome. That movie is incredible, actually. That movie is A League of Their Own is incredible. All right. JJ's next.
Do you have any secret talents or hobbies?
I play a lot of video games, like a lot of Minecraft and Need for
Minecraft.
Speed. I love Minecraft.
Me
That's-
too.
Yeah. 80% of my gaming is Minecraft, and then like the other 20% is WWE 2K. So
Nice.
I have and then
I have an
Legos.
army.
I like building Legos.
Ooh. I have an army of wolves in Minecraft named after wrestlers. The first one had to be Shannon.
Absolutely.
Of course.
And I mostly got it because somebody asked me if I had it, and I said I thought I had it on my Switch, but my Switch is really old, so it didn't work, which I'm really sad because my first world's on there.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have my first world anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't have a Microsoft account on there somehow, even though I've had one. And so I bought it. I had this Apple gift card that I got 2 Christmases ago, and I used it to buy Minecraft. I was gonna use it to buy Minecraft on my phone, but I realized I used my phone to call this person, so I changed it to I changed my mind and grabbed the Apple one because I had one for Google too. So I bought the game so I can play it with this person, and I'm now obsessed. I actually have a few times I was watching a Minecraft thing while playing Minecraft, like a YouTuber that plays Minecraft while playing Minecraft. It's really fun.
Yeah. He's the brother of a Nepwa student. We didn't actually get permission to say the name, but we'll tell you after.
Yeah.
Good kid. I like him. You want to ask the other one?
What is something that would surprise fans about you?
I got one. When I was in elementary school and middle school, I was a lead singer in chorus. I used to be a big chorus guy up until high school, and I got to sing the national anthem at Fenway Park for the Boston Red Sox.
Oh my God, that is
Sure.
incredible.
Yeah.
That is like my dream. That is literally my dream. It's literally
One
my
of
dream.
your dreams.
One of my dreams. One of my many dreams. That is
I have a
impressive.
chorus concert coming up.
Tip of the cap to you. You have a chorus concert coming up.
I'm scared.
Yeah, it happens.
I'm singing with high schoolers.
I know.
congratulations.
At Fenway Park? That's amazing. I've been kind of softballing the idea of singing it at a Nashua Silver Knights game for this upcoming season. So we'll see if I get to do that. I want to be hopefully not Mr. Panic at the Disco and forget the lyrics, but um, I mean it happens, right? It does happen where I have I told this story on the podcast recently? I feel like I've told this story recently somewhere. Maybe it was at the Kava Bar. Well, I was actually proposing to her mother, and I was singing Elvis karaoke with a live band at the Toby Keith's I Love This Bar and Grill in Tempe, Arizona, which this restaurant was literally the size of a Walmart. It was insanely large. I could not believe it when we went in there for the first time. And they started playing this song. I'm a huge Elvis nerd. They started playing a song that I've sung 1,000 times, and once they started playing the song, I completely forgot the lyrics for a minute there. I was like, they're like, "Do you want the words?" And I'm like, "Nah, I got it." And then I got on stage and I was like, "What song is this?" So with that being said, she's like, "Are you sure you're gonna remember the lyrics to like America the Beautiful or something?" I'm like, "I don't know, man. We'll see. Maybe I could sing it from the booth and just keep the lyrics in front of me. Nobody cares." But yeah, that's pretty impressive for sure, especially Fenway Park.
Yeah.
I do love being from New England. I love all the sports fans. I have the sports teams. I have the Sox on one side. I got the Celtics tattoo on the other. You know, you gotta love New England sports, right? As someone once said, Fenway Park is the true cathedral of Boston. How old were you when you did that? I'm curious.
I want to say I was either 12 or 13 when I did that. So, yeah.
Someone's 13. Get up, get to work. Let's go. No, I'm just kidding.
I could never do that.
I know. I'm just kidding.
I would like have a panic attack and I would like literally discombobulate.
Yeah, okay. See, when you hit 18, you can have some kava and calm down. Yay!
Yeah.
So we're gonna do this one more time. We did this once today. We're gonna shout out to Caroline because we know that she's an OG and she helped out the breadwinners many times over.
Yes.
Shout out to Caroline. We love you. She's also a super nice person, and she's always been willing to.
She loves the gecko.
She loves the gecko, and she was part of one of your last videos where you did the whole hair reveal.
The hair.
It
So, was Caroline and Shannon together, then Cash separately.
Yeah, we did all that, and it was great.
I was really nervous and really scared, but then I was also like dying of a heat stroke because like I had my hood on the whole chaotic show, and I was like,
why is Watertown always so hot?
Couldn't tell you, and I don't really notice it until like I walk through the curtain, and then I'm literally standing like on the turnbuckle during that tag match, dripping sweat. I'm like,
yeah,
what happened?
It's insane.
Oh, yeah.
It's like -5 degrees outside, but it feels like it's 110 in there, and you're just like, what? How? And at one point I had seen Mortar, and he was like, why the is it so hot in here? And I was like, thank you. I've been saying the same thing. Just crack a door or something. Somebody crack a door somewhere. We'll be fine. It's so hot. It makes me scared for what it's like in August. Whoosh, whoosh. It's like I got an air conditioner. But with that being said about Caroline, how do you balance the grind of training, traveling, and getting to shows with everyday life?
It's pretty hard, honestly, trying to balance like my outside of wrestling life, and my family and work and making money, trying to actually provide for my dream. Traveling can be extensive. I'm assuming Cash probably told you he doesn't drive yet.
Right.
So
Yeah, you should have.
um, so I'm doing a lot of the bulk of the driving. Um, and it's a lot of caffeine. It's a lot of splashing water in my face at like 2 in the morning, just trying to get to like our houses. And thankfully, shout out Caroline. They're amazing. Spectacular person. Uh, they helped us a lot when we had that issue with the car back in the couple months ago, where
Right.
they would help us get to shows and everything. And thankfully, I would crash in the back seat after a show and just like knock out for at least like an hour.
Yeah. No, it's great to have, allies like Caroline out there. Has always been so supportive of JJ for sure. So, got to send nothing but love. Um, um, Not sure if there would be a proper noun or nomenclature to describe, but Caroline in that fashion. When I had Landon Hale on the podcast, I described her as the queen of the trainees. I didn't know if there's another, politically correct term to use to describe them, but that was just the best way I could say it. And you know, Caroline really brings all that stuff together. But it's great to know that Nepwa really takes care of themselves. That takes care of their own, and it's great to have those kind of people. And that's actually one thing I said to. And that's it's funny. She didn't mention names, but St. James earlier today, she brought up the idea that there are actually a great number of really good professional wrestlers in general that are either unable to drive, really bad at driving, and they know they're bad at driving. Okay, they'll make it a point, or terrified of driving, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, if they got, for some of them, it sounds like they have a car. So I got a tiny car. Couldn't fit too many people in my car. I got a Hyundai Accent. We're not fitting people in that thing. But if so and so's got a car, I don't mind driving, bro. I don't mind helping the team. I'm a team player. You know what I'm saying? I'm good for that. I'm a pretty decent driver. In fact, I haven't told this story yet, so I'll tell it on air. JJ here had a birthday with a friend on a Saturday. I promised one of my best friends in the world that I would help her retrieve her child from like Chattanooga, Tennessee. Okay? So, for whatever reason, it was my particular responsibility to make sure that JJ got to this friend's birthday party on the Saturday. So, me and my friend left on I think it was a Thursday night. It was a Thursday. We drove I drove the whole way. So I actually drove all the way to Tennessee, right? Just outside. I slept till like 6 in the morning. Okay. I woke up at 6 in the morning. We drove from where we were 2 hours to I should say an hour to Buc-ee's. I don't know if you've ever been to Buc-ee's, but I love that place. It's a lot of fun. What?
You bought me a Buc-ee.
I know. I got her a Buc-ee's stuffy. All right. If you ever go down south, check out Buc-ee's. It's amazing.
Definitely.
Drive an hour to Buc-ee's, another hour to where the child was, picked up the child, and I drove 14 hours all the way back. I got back around 2 or 3 in the morning. I had to be up at, I think, 7 or 8, something like that, to pick her up and bring her for a birthday party at like 10. So, I guess what I'm saying is I'm not afraid of a long drive, right? It was I think it was actually like a 16-hour drive all the way through. So we literally drove from like 8 in the morning to 2 or 3 o'clock the next day, basically. That's how long I was driving for. And it was, yeah, coffee becomes your good friend, right? Who's your buddy? Who's your buddy? I had a few energy drinks. But it definitely is kind of wild. Definitely is kind of wild. I don't know, I feel like I don't want to say I was lucky that my first job was the army, but I definitely want to say that it taught me perseverance, and it taught me a lot of definitely know how to pay my dues. That's for sure. But it definitely gave me skills that the average human being doesn't normally get on their first rodeo. You don't really get that at donkeys. You know what I mean?
No.
So you have had. Let's just put it like this, right? I mean, it stinks that you guys are no longer in the picture coming up for the tag championships, but maybe in chaotic, but maybe in one of those other universes out there like APW or something, it would be pretty dope to see the breadwinners get some gold, baby. 2026 breadwinners flying high.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a mindset going into that to try to see if maybe you can get some of that shine for the Swagatron?
Absolutely. If I get to win my first taste of gold with cash, it's all the better. I get to do it with my best friend. And then it's a little secret. The first thing we do when we win gold is we're going to the Golden Raisin Canes in Boston with the titles. And we're
That's
having
a
a box
cool
combo.
man. And that's funny because doing my research, I stumbled upon the idea that you guys love Raising Canes. So my original curveball, maybe I'll throw it out now. Yeah, okay. Maybe I'll throw it out now, right? Was a wild stipulation match where when you guys had to do a battle royal, so it would be, let's say, 30 people, just like in Linwood Mania, right? You guys have to do a battle royal. We sans banana, no banana, all right? But we add in Raising Cane's chicken tendies, right? And the only way to eliminate somebody is to make them eat the chicken, right? You
Yeah.
have to force your opponent to eat the chicken. The question is, would you self-eliminate very fast, or?
Absolutely. I would lose instantly. If there's caniac sauce and there's like a bucket of wings, I'm crushing it all. No one else is getting eliminated besides myself.
Just like, let me hold that tray for you. Hold on. All right.
Eats it all.
Right.
They would have to buy extra
Right.
just for that. They'd be like, okay, so we know he'll probably eat them all. Let's get extra just in case of an emergency. Just not show him. Show him the one amount, but don't show him the rest.
We're gonna hire them for catering, and you're just not gonna be in the match. You'll just be in the back eating. Sounds good. So it's funny you mentioned that, because I almost wanted to be like, that question's too wild and out of the ballpark. But then once you said it, I was like, perfect. You set me up. Woo! So, breadwinners, I've asked this. I didn't ask Cash this question, but I did ask this like TJC. TJC had actually a really good answer for this one. So now I kind of want to ask a couple more people. Do you have a wild, weird, or strange on the road story? Like some place, maybe a venue that was wacky, or well, he had a crazy place that he wrestled at, which was really great. And for anybody listening, go watch the TJC video that's dropping Saturday, March 7th, technically in 30 minutes from now, actually. But he had a great one. So my question for you is, do you have anything like that being on the road?
Yeah. There's a couple, but one was me and Cash, like when we first started training at Netboa, I had met him 4 months into training, I believe. And we lived in the same area, so we started carpooling. And it was about like a week after we had started carpooling, we're driving back home, and this big like white like construction van was passing us, and then cop lights hit on behind him, trying to pull it over, speeding, whatever, and it starts booking it. Like it starts running from the cops. And so one cop follows it, another cop follows it, and I almost get clipped by one police officer chasing this guy through like the woods and stuff like that. It was crazy. And then we saw it on the news next morning. Wow. Bonkers stuff. And then Cash's mother did not believe that story at all and thought I was like some crazy driver.
You're making it up, man.
Making it up.
Mama Cash, it's cool, man. He's not lying.
Yeah.
So no, that's a really good one. That's a really good one. That is some wild stuff. That kind of low-key reminds me of have you ever heard about Chaos and Kindness? The band?
No.
So they're like a really local New Hampshire band. They're almost like the I don't want to say the poor man's, but like the punk rock version of the Blue Man Group, because they use like the different things as instruments and stuff like that, and their whole thing is to spread kindness throughout the world, right? JJ's first ever concert. They actually have they have like little pop-up stores in all the different malls of New Hampshire, and they donate a lot of the proceeds to a bunch of different like really good, stuff. But the wild thing is I used to work at Jesus Christ, I just lost the name of it. Planet Fitness. I used to work at Planet Fitness, and we had this guy for the longest time that would sneak into the Planet Fitness and try to sneak into people's lockers. And he got caught by, allegedly, let's just say that, allegedly some of the scariest mofos that you don't want to get caught by, okay? So these gentlemen who, I would shout out to them, but that might be low-key weird because you don't want to, incriminate your friends. Genuinely awesome human beings. They were always super cool with me, but they caught this lowlife trying to go through their locker. And I was like, I mean, if you would have seen these guys, you know what I mean? That would be like somebody trying to steal from Tyree. Probably not a good plan, right? Probably not a good plan, right? Not a good idea. Okay.
Mm-mm.
All right. So, we didn't know his name because he was using which is one of the reasons why they got, I should say, Planet Fitness used to have like little scanning badges that you can use and scan into the place, but now they force you to use the app because people were stealing those name badges or borrowing them from their friends and using their friends' stuff to get into Planet Fitness. So this guy had stolen someone's keys. He was using someone else's name. So we couldn't figure out this guy's name for like the life of us, but he kept trying to come back. And every time he would come back, we all know what he looked like. We'd throw him right out the door, no problem, right? Throw him right out the door every time he tried to sneak in the building. So we kept trying to get this guy in trouble, but we didn't know his name. So it never stuck until one day, he happened to have the exact same name as the lead singer of this band, right? The leader of this band, Justin something. I can't remember the dude's last name for the life of me. But they had the same name. So this Justin kid, the evil Justin, we'll say, he got caught during a B&E, and he got arrested for the B&E. And because of that, since he had the same name as the good Justin, we'll say, this good Justin was like, hey man, just so people know, this isn't me, this is a different guy with the same name. So thanks to that, we were able to know that I saw this on Instagram. I brought it to my boss. My boss was able to call the police, and we were able to get this guy banned for life from Planet Fitness because of his shenanigans, and we were able to make sure, yes, shenanigans, and we were able to get it going. So the weird world that we live in, right? Weird world. So we're almost there. We're almost ready to wrap up. I got two more for you, and then I'm gonna let the kid do the final question. She's got her. Hopefully, you got it ready. So, who are you? And you could name like two. You could name living, past, present, etc. You know, some people will be like, I want the Shawn Michaels from 1994, right? Who are some of your dream opponents, whether current indie stars, legends, or even WWE or AEW names that you'd love to share a ring with?
So I'll go one with retired slash like I can't wrestle them. And that's Roddy Piper. I think Roddy Piper is one of the greats. I would have loved to wrestle him. Um, and then I'll go right now because I do believe he is the best wrestler in the world right now, and that is Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
Okay. Yeah, those are pretty two solid answers. MJF, they just announced he's going to be returning to Beyond Wrestling in about a month, I believe, for a big show that they have.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, AEW champion multiple times at this point. He did have a opposing show for Limitless versus Pandemonium, where he faced off with Alec Price and then brought those guys up to AEW with him, which was pretty incredible for those guys as well. So yeah, that's a great solid choice. And then it's really hard to debate the Hot Rod, right? He was so good. He was just so good. And the not even just the wrestling skills, but the microphone skills. And I genuinely do not care if non-wrestling fans want to laugh at this, but when he told off Bill Maher, oh my God. That was so. Have you seen that interview where he was with the rest of the WCW crew on the Bill Maher
Absolutely.
show?
Yeah,
right.
Where he pulled his pants down.
Right.
Yeah.
That was like, he's like, broken hip, wrist for 7 years, right? I was just like, I love this guy. I love this guy. The fact that he was just so real about it, because I know being a lifelong wrestling fan, I've had so many people bust my chops. Don't you know it's like, listen, you think the Kardashians are real? You need to get out of my face, lady. I don't want to hear it, okay? Or you over there, you think that people actually can play with a lightsaber? All right? Give me a break. Give me a break. All right? Yeah, blah, 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 blah. What on television isn't in whatever. Like, it's still a form of, it's sports, it's entertainment. I prefer the term professional wrestling over Vince's term of sports entertainment, even though I understand why he used it, because he was trying to get out of taxes. I get it. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, you can't, if you, and I feel like I've quoted this 45 times, but Chase said this to me once. Chase said, for those who believe no explanation is needed, and for everyone else, no explanation will do. So that's really, I mean, you can, I don't know if Chase has ever said that to you, but it's a damn good one, I think.
That is a pretty good one.
Well, I mean, he is Chase Del Monte. It's hard not to quote him when he's a pretty smart guy.
Very smart.
Interesting, right? You could tell us more stories, but yeah, no, the Hot Rod and MJF, it's really hard to dispute. Yeah. I was kind of low key mad at him in September though. Well, here's the thing. they were doing that. If you maybe you remember, but AEW was doing a stint for like 3 weeks at the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia, the old ECW arena, and they had set up this whole thing where Ring of Honor pay-per-view was gonna be on a Friday night, and then Saturday Collision. So I paid for all this stuff well in advance, and then they changed the dates, and I honestly had no clue at the time why they did that until it came close and I realized, oh, they changed Ring of Honor pay-per-view because the original date was the same day MJF was going to get married, so they had to. Yeah. So I missed out on Ring of Honor because of MJF's wedding. So, but good for you, bro. Good for him. I can't throw shade at that. You gotta let love breathe in this universe. My last question before I pass it over. You said Nepwa's home forever.
Mhm.
Looking ahead, we talked about short-term goals. Do you
Mhm.
have a long-term vision for your career?
WWE champion. End of statement. WWE is the epitome. Obviously, I'm looking forward to any opportunity to be a world champion. But ever since I was a little kid, I've always wanted to be the guy. And I wanted to, like I said, be the platform for all the kids in the world to show them you can do it the right way. And the best platform at this current stage is WWE. That could change in an instant. AEW is obviously doing fantastic right now, and TNA is also on the up and coming with their new TV deal. But I'd love the opportunity to be the QB1 and take the position from Cody and be the WWE champion.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it from it himself. So what I would say is like, don't forget about the rest of us when you become champion, bro. No.
Never. Nope.
You've kind of touched on it a couple of times, but JJ's going to ask you a question, and I'd say let's expand this one. So, oof, okay there.
What? This is weird.
Go
This makes
for
it
it.
more
Go
awkward.
for it.
What would you like to say to the kids who look up to you?
Um, if I had to make it in a short or expand upon it, don't listen to the outsiders. Don't listen to the people that don't understand you. Um, and listen to yourself. Believe in what is right, and don't go around trying to prove people wrong, but prove yourself right.
I like that. You know, and this is my own personal philosophy, but sometimes in life, I feel like it pays to be wrong, right? And in that particular case, it would be the world would say you're going to go one way and you're able to do what you want to do, and they were wrong. They were wrong
Mhm.
about you. And the unfortunate truth is that it, especially when you have a wild dream, you have this, and maybe to expand on it just a little bit more. The idea is this: when you have a dream like I want to be the WWE champion, there may or may not be people in your life. More often than not, there's people in your life that are going to tell you, "Oh, you didn't go to college, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. You're not going to make it because these aren't the regular parameters that people use in order to be successful." And to that, I say, prove them wrong, right?
Mhm.
The idea is that prove yourself right, do what you want to do, be who you want to be first and foremost, because only you can tell yourself who you are, and you need to be that person 100%, right? You don't have to
Mhm.
live in someone else's negativity. You don't have to, you know, um, be vindictive in some ways. and I alluded it to a little bit earlier, and I've said this to her 1,000 times. We kind of got in a little sticky situation with some backstage politics, and I told these people, listen, you can be rude to me all day, but by God's grace, you will never have that reciprocated upon you. My door will always remain open to you. If there is a fight, if there's an argument, if there's a, let's say, a negative connotation towards myself, that will never be reciprocated back at you. I will always be there, ready and willing to forgive and say, hey man, life happens, right? Let's roll with it. Not to mention, some people just eventually come to terms with the idea that maybe they were punching on the wrong guy. So, once again, 2 hours. That was pretty wild.
Podcast.
Pretty good crossover. So I would have to say, Wheatman, thank you so much for being here today with us, staying up nice and late. Very exciting for anybody who I'm honestly very curious what is going to happen when this drops on the social medias and Wheatman lover sees it.
Oh, yeah, and Cash.
And the cash lover sees it. I
feel like they're gonna flip out.
Very, very curious what they're gonna say. What they're gonna do. So, because you guys have you have rabid fandom, man. You guys have these people who are like, you are the end all be. I would think you already are the WWE champion, the way they, and they're so creative too. They make up some wild stuff. I'm just like, how did you, Patrick Wheatman as Power Ranger and stuff? Just
I was the Red Ranger. I was so happy. I love the Red Ranger.
Yeah, not well known fact. Little known fact. TJC is a huge Power Rangers fan, right? He talked about it on the podcast, so he probably would have freaked out if somebody did that one. But yeah, but thank you so much for being here today. The next episode should have Mike Grassa and hopefully a little bit of Katie Prescott. She may or may not have her hands full. We'll see. Other than that, for anybody else who's been paying attention for good housekeeping, Jesus Christ, go to bed. No, good house cleaning. I have started my bonus episode series where I will be talking about the other things that I do in my universe, whether it be gluten-free lifestyle, vegan lifestyle, the Kava bar. I've been bringing in influencers from here, there, and everywhere to talk about that stuff. So there will be extra bonus episodes dropping on Wednesdays. These episodes drop on Saturdays. Once again, Jesus Christ. Utah, baby. Give it to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and we are stacking, racking, and packing all day because one of us is going to WrestleMania.
I want to go to Las Vegas. I just want to go to Las Vegas.
I get it.
To the Spine Ninjas HQ.
All right, you will go. And I want to be able to make plenty of content when I'm in Vegas.
And
I don't have to
go
worry
to
about
that
this
Target,
podcast.
that specific Target.
Again, I've already been there.
I want to be there because
you want to be there. Oh, okay. Okay, whatever. But anyways, Wheatman, thank you so much. Everyone else, catch us in the next one, and we will see you guys later. Peace.
Peace.